that this woman has brought to the table than even what I just reported, including pictures of herself pointing a gun toward members of Congress, screaming at Parkland victims, running after them. I mean, this Congresswoman is not something the Republicans want as to represent them if they want bipartisanship. I mean, this is another major problem. I'm curious if you have any intel or gut feelings on this meeting with Kevin McCarthy, because Kevin McCarthy, in my opinion, doesn't get it either.
So, Mika, you're right to point out that the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene has said online, many of them are really astonishing. Especially, I would put at the top of the list the idea that the school shootings, all those children who died at Sandy Hook, that was actually a false flag event. Parkland, similarly, the high school in Florida, and then to have her placed on the education committee. I know that I have seen some Sandy Hook parents tweeting and talking about the grief that this has caused them. She is also out there questioning September 11th and the attacks and indulging in conspiracy theories around that. And the reality is, they knew this going in. Republican leaders did. This is not, most of this stuff's old. It's been out there. Some of it was written about before the election. And I remember talking to Republican sources before she was elected and saying to them, what are you doing about this? Don't you think this is going to be a big problem if this person wins your primary? Because if they win the primary, they're almost guaranteed to become a member of Congress. And the decision at the time was they didn't want to poke the bear, really. They didn't want to take a risk that potentially they would be in trouble with then President Trump if they went after her. They also, I think more reasonable minds thought, well, we may draw attention to her in a way that would make it more likely that she would win if we endorsed and fought for her primary opponent. And so that was the calculation. We're just gonna let this happen, even though we know it's ongoing. And so heading into the meeting this week, I think it's the same set of questions. You know, they didn't do anything about her before. Why is anything going to change here if they had all of this information going into it? So, you know, I think Kevin McCarthy is clearly trying to please everybody right now. And if President Trump is on board with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I struggle to see how Kevin McCarthy is going to say no.